Greetings and welcome to the Pampering Myself podcast, an advocacy for self-care. We'll laugh, we'll cry, and most importantly, we'll learn that you can't pour from an empty cup. You'll hear stories, interviews, and conversations which will empower you in living your best life. Good morning, ladies. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Psalms 118, verse 24. Please know with so much uncertainty in the world today, there is hope. I'm inspired by that scripture while taking in the sunshine this beautiful day. Welcome to another episode of Pampering Myself. So much has transpired over the past few months, yet we're still here. Thanks be to God. Today, as promised, I'm going to share with you another episode on the importance of pampering ourselves on the inside. When we talk about pampering ourselves, we often think about the outside. Now, to some, it may look like a spa day, a yoga class, watching a movie, relaxation, meditation, a new outfit, and the list could go on. In other words, it means something different to each of us. Would you agree? In the last episode, I talked about the essential minerals and their importance, just sharing a few of the major minerals that we all should be concerned with. And in this podcast, I'll share with you the importance of essential vitamins. Now, although there are 13 essential vitamins, I'm only going to talk about 2. However, I'm going to list those 13 for you. Vitamins A, C, D, E, K, and the B vitamins. Vitamins B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9, and B10. And yes, I did not say B4 and B8. Don't know where those vitamins are. So why is this important to us? Well, according to the MedlinePlus.gov, when we don't eat enough fruits and vegetables or whole grains and fortified dairy foods, we increase the risk of health problems, such as heart disease, cancer, and a list of other health issues we don't even need to list. Now, I, for one, know I can do better. Have you ever seen someone with a problem, pardon my expression, but we refer to them as having a raggedy mouth, teeth missing, rotten? The first thing we think about is that they need to see a dentist or they haven't seen a dentist. But how about someone who is hunched over, osteoporosis, or someone with unhealthy looking skin? According to my research, their condition could be the results of vitamin deficiency. So for the purpose of this podcast, I'll be sharing with you 2 of the essential vitamins, which are vitamin C and vitamin D. So let's first talk about vitamin C. It's also called the ascorbic acid. It's an antitoxin that promotes healthy teeth and gums, and it helps the body absorb iron and maintain healthy tissue. It's also essential for healing wounds. You might have taken vitamin C just before catching a cold. I know my husband always reaches for vitamin C when he's not feeling good. Well, according to the Natural Remedies Encyclopedia, in sickness or in health, you'll know when you've taken too much vitamin C because it'll cause diarrhea. But that's a good thing because the extra is excreted in the bowels. So in other words, you can't take too much. And just so you know, vitamin C is non-toxic. So when he's not feeling good, he may drink a glass of vitamin C once a day or twice a day, and he may do this for an entire week. So when you are sick or have an infection, it's recommended according to my research, that you want to reach for that vitamin C because the white blood cells use vitamin C to fight and destroy the germs in your system. Now, there's other supplements and other ways that we can get vitamin C. It can come through such foods as sweet peppers, green peppers, kale, parsley, your collard, turnip, and mustard greens, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. However, please note that if any of these mentioned are overcooked, then they lose all of their nutritional value. And you know, ladies, especially in the African American community, that we will cook turnip, collards, and mustard greens beyond the nutritional value. So, vitamin C is literally involved with all functions of our body. They literally hold our body together, according to the Natural Remedies Encyclopedia. And there are so many benefits. There are so many, too many for me to get in this podcast. Just know that it is an essential vitamin. And you might want to look it up because it could benefit you what actually some of the benefits are for vitamin C. Now, there are a number of supplements. However, I suggest you consult with your medical provider before trying any type of supplement. So what about the deficiencies? Well, you have pyorrhea, which is soft gums, tooth decay, anemia, your sores and wounds may heal slow. It weakens our capillaries, premature aging, thyroid insufficiency, and once again, that list goes on. So you know how important vitamin C is to your health. Hopefully, you'll consciously make better choices. Now let's move on to vitamin D. Vitamin D is known as the sunshine vitamin. As I sit out here on this beautiful sunshine day, taking in some of that vitamin D, it's produced in our body by being exposed to the sun. It's suggested that 10 to 15 minutes, 3 times a week, is enough to produce the body's requirement. However, there are people who don't get enough sun because they don't live in a place where it's sunny. And so they have a deficiency. Also, dark-skinned people do not absorb enough sunlight, and therefore they have a higher deficiency when it comes to vitamin D. So according to WebMD.com, vitamin D deficiency has been linked to not only a variety of cancers and other health conditions, it's also linked to depression and weight gain. Now that's something I never considered. So I'm going to blame my weight gain on vitamin D. Vitamin D is needed for the absorption of calcium, phosphorus, and other minerals of the digestive system, as well as the formation of bones and teeth. And this is especially during early childhood, which is why it's important to get in vitamin D through milk, especially for newborns and infants. Now, when there's a deficiency, of course, vitamin D can also cause problems, leading to, once again, that pyorrhea, which is softening of the gums, tooth decay, and in children, there's a condition called rickets. And then for adults, osteoporosis, which can lead to bone density and joint pain. So the research says that vitamin D could play also a role in prevention and treatment of a number of conditions. Oh, that is so important to know that vitamin D plays a part in prevention and treatment of diabetes, hypertension, and MS, only if it's taken in proper doses. On the other hand, unlike vitamin C, vitamin D can be toxic. Their excessive amounts of vitamin D can produce an increase of blood concentration and buildup of calcium. And that's where, when it deposits on the organs, it can lead to kidney stones. So before taking supplements of any kind, once again, please consult your medical provider, because blood tests can usually show any deficiencies or excessive amounts of any of these nutrients or vitamins in our body. So what did we learn today? Well, for me, it was a lot. In summary, we know now that vitamin C is extremely essential for our health, literally holding our bodies together, and that there is so much data out there and cause of deficiencies and diseases because of lack of vitamin D. It was just overwhelming. Our white blood cells use vitamin C to fight and destroy germs in our bodies. And that vitamin C is non-toxic, and too much can actually cause diarrhea. So there's a number of food sources rich in vitamin C as long as they are properly cooked. Now, although vitamin D comes from the sun, dark-skinned people absorb less and therefore have a higher deficiency. So when there's a deficiency in vitamin D, it can lead to pyorrhea, tooth decay, osteoporosis, and joint pain. And the research has shown that vitamin D can be toxic in excessive amounts, and it also plays a role in prevention and treatment of a number of conditions. And once again, before taking any vitamin supplements, consult your medical provider. Now, I hope you found this information helpful. I know for myself it's been empowering. During my research, I found a lot of information that explains certain conditions that I have personally experienced in the past. An example, have you ever wondered or had something like, remember having restless legs years ago? I talked about this in a previous podcast. And it was so painful to just sit down. If you ever had restless leg syndrome, it was painful to sit down and be still. And when I decided to go to the doctor and follow up on it, there was no explanation from my medical provider. But strangely enough, it went away. And so also the same thing when I initially was diagnosed with, now it escapes me, go in the back of your leg, when I found out it was really a deficiency that I had in a vitamin. So when we know that our bodies and pay attention, and they lack certain things because we know these things are vital, then we pay attention. But those went away. The first one, the restless leg, went away. I can't tell you what I started doing that fulfilled that need inside my body. But I just know that, thank God, it did go away. So now that I'm an advocate for my own health, I'm a little bit more conscious on what I consume and how it affects me. So if I get an ache or pain, I know when my potassium level is low because it'll give me a signal. When I increase it, it'll go away. So knowing the importance of vitamins and minerals and how they play a role in our overall health is a tremendous help, because we don't have to suffer in pain, or we can control certain conditions. If we already have them, I'm not saying this is a miracle and you all of a sudden increase. I don't know, because I don't know the science behind it, and I'm not sure whether or not it will cure it or not. But I do know from my research that those are some of the reasons we have these health conditions, and it is because we lack these vitamins and nutrients in our body. And I compared it to like a car in the last episode. We take care of our cars. We put oil in it. We change the fluids. Those are the things that we do for the internal. The engine won't operate if certain things aren't. If the windshield wipers won't secrete out windshield wiper fluid if we don't fill it back up. So there are things that we do to our car to help it run at optimum. We get our brakes inspected, our tires rotated, our oil changed so that we can rely on that vehicle. Let's start relying on our bodies functioning the way they should. And so we want to go to the doctor. We want to get those blood tests. We want to understand what they mean, what those numbers mean, and we want to do our own research. Be an advocate for your own health and get that information from whatever reliable source that you can get it from. Medical journals generally provide information. Your WebMDs, your health sites, these are all places that you can go and get reliable information. But you don't want to make any drastic changes. And hear me, you don't want to make any drastic changes or take anything over the counter, supplemental wise, or what you may have seen on television or even heard from me without consulting your medical provider. And with that, I will leave you in good health. Involved with electrolytes balance and liver function. It stimulates the liver to function as a filter. It also helps the joints and tendons stay in a youthful shape and aids in the distribution of hormones. And when there's a deficiency, body fluids don't function properly and digestion is poor. So you can experience hair and tooth loss, poor contraction, along with impaired digestion. So note, chlorine in drinking water destroys vitamin E, as well as many of the other intestinal fluorides that are in the body, helping us with digestion. I hope you found this information vital and essential, because it is essential to our health. And here at Pampering Myself, we are all about educating and informing women on the importance of self-care. It is not only important to look good on the outside, taking care of our nails, our hair, but it's also important for us to consider the inside. And these aren't things that are typically taught to us or that we are aware of. But it's something that we should now consider, because we hold healthcare professionals accountable for our health, but we have to take some responsibility ourselves. And at a minimum, just knowing some of the proper foods and things that we should be concerned with. Although there are 18 minerals, these are the most important, and just a change in diet and an awareness will help us keep us better and pamper us on the inside. So in our next episode, I'll be looking forward to sharing with you some of the most important vitamins. I didn't really start taking my vitamins seriously until I was in my 50s. I took them off and on here and there. But they are important, because as we get older, depending on your diet, we're just not consuming the daily requirement. And they are there for a reason. In the absence of them, things will change. So we don't have to necessarily be afflicted with all the things that we say is just a matter of getting old. I don't believe that to be true. And I think if we learn to take care of our bodies from a younger age, then we shall live a long and healthy life. And thank you for listening.